Back on Radio Row, Super Bowl 51 between the Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons, powered by Corona and Corona Light. And now joining us is Willie Colon on the Zach Gelb Show. Willie, thanks for a few minutes, and how are you?
I'm doing well. All is well. Just hearing a little bit of madness that's going on Radio Row. Everything looks good.
Well, it's finally fun to interview an offensive lineman this week because when they bring, but not only that, when they bring the cornerbacks around, when they bring the wide receivers, my big size, I look like I dwarf these guys. Now it's finally fun that I get to talk to a big guy.
I know. You're amongst your local tribesmen, if you will.
So I'm from Long Island and Dix Hills, Comac area, Suffolk County.
Oh, okay.
And I know that you went to Hofstra and you ended up being a 4th-round draft pick and then a Super Bowl champion. Take me through your journey.
Well, take you through my journey. It's such a loaded journey, if you will. You know, I was a Hofstra guy, extremely humbled to kind of even be considered to be in the NFL. I was kind of whatever. I was more focused about paying rent than playing football, and God put me with, blessed me with the opportunity to get drafted to the Steelers, and I was birthed into an organization that had so much tradition as far as winning championships, and I just kind of embraced and really took in all the culture that it took to be a Steeler, and was able to go to 2 Super Bowls, win one, lose one. Then I was able to come back home. Rex Ryan called me up. He's like, "Listen, man, we want you to be a Jet." So when you're kind of get up in your career, a chance to go back home and play for your hometown team is something special. So I've had a blessed career. I have nothing to complain about. I had the good times, the bad times, and some wild times. So
when you go to a school like Hofstra, who doesn't even have a football program anymore,
I know, it's a damn shame. They need to bring our football program back.
But hey, they're undefeated then every year, I guess.
BSCS bound every year, baby.
But when you go to a program like Hofstra, people of course tell you, "Oh, you're never going to play in the National Football League." When you got to the NFL, when was it that you knew that, hey, I can make it in this league?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think anybody ever told us that we weren't going to the league. I mean, we had Wayne Corbett, Lance Schultz, Marcus Colston, me, myself, Stephen Bowen, Charlie Adams. We've always had at least 2 or 3 guys who have cracked the shield as far as making it to the NFL. It was just a point of us just staying in the NFL. A lot of our guys had 1 or 2 or 3 year careers. Ricky Bryant, who I played with, actually played for the Patriots. He got a Super Bowl ring himself. I have one. Marcus has one. Kyle Arrington has one. So we have a lot of guys who have Super Bowl rings. But we're kind of like the lost tribe of the Northeast. But Hofstra guys always thought, as a culture, from a culture standpoint, we were always going to be the toughest no matter where we was at. And we took pride in just being rugged and tough, and that's why a lot of guys were able to kind of make these training camps, because we were small school guys who just had that chip on our shoulder that we was going to make it, and it's been great.
And we see that now so much in sports. These no-name guys, people that didn't go to the Alabamas, the Floridas, the USCs, end up making big plays, not only in the regular season, but then the postseason. Right now, Chris Hogan, Monmouth is one of those stories.
Right.
What advice would you give to some of those younger players who didn't go to an Alabama?
Just believe that you're no different from them. Football is football at the end of the day. Either you got it or you don't. And one thing you don't want to do, especially when you get to the next level, is second guess yourself. Let it loose, man. Fly around, be aggressive. I've lived my career being the most physical guy on the field. And I don't know a coach in this free world that wouldn't take a kid who's willing to put his head in front of the fan and not get afraid to get his nose chopped off. And that's what football is about, just being fearless, being aggressive, and just absolutely letting it fly around. And I think if you go to, especially guys from Hofstra, if you look at all of our tape, we just play free. We're rugged, we're tough, and that's why I tell all young guys, especially small school guys, don't blink when you get to the big stage. Just look them right in the eye and know you deserve to be there.
Toughest defensive player you ever went up against?
Haloti Ngata from the Baltimore Ravens. He was a guy who he was just a menace, and he was strong. He was a double team eater, and when he turned it on, he was a load. And him and Kyle Williams from Buffalo, another great player. And the list goes on. I've played against Julius Peppers when he was in Carolina, and so I've had my fair share of superheroes.
When you end up dominating one of those guys and you're going up against them in preparation, what's that feeling like after you know that, hey, I got the better end of one of a really good player?
Well, that's my job. That's I don't look, if I was to go against Von Miller and I shut him down, I'm not going to tap myself in the back, because I got to do it the next week, and I got to go the week after. So part of being a professional is just doing your job, and don't see the face, just see the body. And that's how I've always approached the game. I play against nameless great faces, and that's how I approach it. I don't kind of walk around getting extra pumped up because I'm playing a superstar. I plan to kick his ass like I plan to kick another guy who's a third-string guy's ass. Like my mom used to say, you know, I'm gonna serve you the same thing. Your order number one is gonna be a Big Mac. I'm gonna kick your butt. And so I'm gonna be. It's all about being consistent in your play. So that's where I'm at.
Willie Colon with us right now from Radio Row. Zach Gelb Show, Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. Big Ben, I know he had some comments and all this retirement stuff. I'm sure you've been asked about it 1,000 times on these shows. How many more years do you think he has left playing? Because I don't think he's retiring this year.
Well, one, he's not going to retire because he's going to have to write the Pittsburgh Steelers an $18 million check. And I don't think anybody's prepared to write that. Secondly, if he did retire, you got to understand this man is 34, 35 years old. He's won 2 Super Bowls, been to 3 Super Bowls. He came back off torn meniscus after 2 weeks. I've had a torn meniscus. It took me 3 months to recover from that. He came back in 2 weeks. So this shows you the level of toughness this guy's had. He's played with concussions. He's been banged up. He's had to play at times with, now his offensive line is great, but at times, when I was there, we weren't as good, and then we got him kind of knocked down a couple times. So that all weighs. So, and listen, all football players have to worry about mortality after the game. And he just had his 3rd child, and listen, it's hard to kind of take the emotions out of it when you just lost to Brady for the AFC Championship. When you know if I get by Brady, I'm going to win the Super Bowl. I don't think anybody, like I saw the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Green Bay, Atlanta. I don't think anybody was going to stop them if they were able to make the Super Bowl. So, it's tough. But if he was to hang it up, I'll love him and hug him and tell him a great career.
You know what it's like to be around a great culture in New England. They have that culture, and it all starts with Brady, Belichick, Mr. Kraft. To see this team dominate for 16 years and the run that they've been on, and you competed against these guys, does it ever just say, when the heck is this going to stop?
No, I mean, the competitor inside you says, you're tired of the Patriots. But being a football player, know how hard it is each year to come back and kind of pursue excellence and then try to take on an organization and guys who may have not been a part of an organization who plays at a such high level, and to kind of turn guys' mindsets into believing in one cause. That's kudos to Belichick and Brady. And, as much as I hate them, I respect the hell out of them. I really do, because it's not easy, winning one game in a National Football League. So to win Super Bowls, multiple Super Bowls, that's a true blessing, and it's an honor to kind of at least have played against them.
When you won that Super Bowl and walked off the field, what was the first thing you thought of?
For me, what I took away from that whole experience was the journey getting to the Super Bowl. It wasn't the game. The game was great. The national anthem was great. I saw a Kardashian in the hallway on my way to the field. All that was special, but when you look back, and meeting the guys, I had dinner with them yesterday, when you talk about that season, the fact that we had to beat Baltimore 3 times, that we had to beat a San Diego team in the playoffs that was really hot, that we played some games where we were flat out, didn't have it, but we found our way as a team to get out of it on the good side. You remember the journey, you remember who you played with. So the trophy's amazing, don't get me wrong, but to collectively win with a bunch of guys who believe in one cause and fight your tail off to get there, that's really the prize.
I know you're getting into broadcasting now. Tell me a little bit about it.
Doing a lot of stuff, ESPN Radio, SNY TV, and just really trying to get on, trying to get on a big stage. And for me, what I bring to the table is a level of, an offensive lineman who played the game with all his heart and passion, and try to give some insight. And you try to show range. I'm a New Yorker, so I grew up watching the Yankees, Knicks, and Rangers and all that. So range and a former player, and and I'm not afraid to chop a little onions and make people cry. So that's where I'm at.
And the character of an offensive lineman I love.
Right.
Best character teammate you played with, like the funniest guy you've ever played with?
Funniest guy I've ever played with? It's called DeBrickashaw Ferguson. Has he has a great sense of humor. I know he seems really dry in the media, but he's funny. It goes on. Hines Ward was a character. Ike Taylor was always funny. So it goes on and on.
Well, Willie, great to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.